Hi, today we are going to be learning about how you can grow tomatoes organically. There are so many things which are being talked about organic farming, and there are so many disadvantages which are presented about organic farming. But one of the things you're going to learn is that organic farming is the best and actually it's the easiest way of growing crops because there is less input and high productivity at the same time, high profit. So today I'm going to give you a complete guide on how you can grow tomatoes organically. Tomato is one of the killer cash crop which you can use, which you can grow to make a lot of money, because it is a crop which people eat thrice or even up to 4 times in a day. It is a fruit which is found in the Colossia family, and crops which are found in this family, they are heavy feeders. So before you grow any crop, it is very important to have an overview. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of tomatoes. One thing you should know is that tomato, as I said earlier on, is found in the Colossia family. This is a family of heavy feeders. It is also sometimes called potato family or nightshade family. Now, in this family, the crops which are found in this family, these are crops which are heavy feeders. And to some extent, tomato is a deep root crop which can even go up to 2 meters deep. This will give you an idea on how you should prepare your soil so that your crop is going to give you the best. And what you should know, there are different types of tomatoes. There is the determinant and indeterminate. The determinant is the one which has been genetically modified and it has been determined when it should come to an end, whether it likes it or not. The indeterminate tomato is the one which just keeps on growing. You prune it, it grows again until sometimes it can just be destroyed by yourself or even by a pest. So having given you an overview on tomatoes and knowing that tomato is even capable of producing up to 30 kgs per plant, that is when you have taken good care of it. So when you have an overview of the crop you are having, you will know how you are supposed to grow it and how you're supposed to take care of it. So before you think of planting your tomatoes, especially when you are growing your tomatoes organically, the first thing you should have in mind is that you should find a market. One of the challenges is that farmers always think of taking their crops to Soweto. I'll give you an example what I know about marketing. When you grow your tomatoes organically, you're planning to grow tomatoes organically, find a market before you start growing. I'll give an example. You can go to ZRA, Zambia Revenue Authority. There are so many people there, and people I know that people right now, they are very health conscious. When you go, you tell them that I am selling the best tomatoes in the city. I'm selling these natural tomatoes which are very healthy, and to make the matters worse, I'm going to be delivering them to your offices. And when you go there, you're going to talk to the managing director, the overseer of that department or that ministry. You tell him, actually with you, the manager, when you allow me to be doing this, whenever I deliver to these others, I'll be bringing you for free vegetables and free tomatoes and free carrots, and everything is organically grown. Are you telling me that he cannot give you a privilege to do that? And you package your tomatoes properly. You know your product, and as you are selling it, you're selling it not just to get money, but you're also selling it with health conscious. You tell them the benefits of your tomatoes, and actually you tell them that you don't have to travel to the supermarkets. I'll be bringing them right to your doorstep. Now that is going to be saving on their time, and also it is going to be working better for them because it is very convenient. So once you find a market, you know that okay, you have strike a deal and you're going to be supplying those people continually. And as your company grows and as your farm grows, you move to another ministry or to another company where you're going to be supplying. Don't just think about Soweto. I was just giving you an idea, but if you may have a challenge on marketing your products, you can call me. I can help you on how you can market your organic products professionally. Don't do things average or what is that what they call mediocrity. We need excellence in organic farming. So after finding a market and you're now diverting into growing your crops, especially in this area we're talking about tomatoes organically, that's when now you think of preparing the soil. there's a very valid principle whereby you have to start small and grow big. Don't grow big and become small. You start small. So as you are planning, you start on a small piece of land because you've never done it, or maybe you have done it before, but you can start small and make sure that when you maintain your field very well. Let me give you an example. In South Africa, there's a woman who is growing organic crops on 2 hectares, and the production which she produces is equivalent to 50 hectares. You find that she is doing her very best, and the yield is so high to an extent that someone who is planting on a 50 hectares cannot beat this woman who is planting on a 2 hectares. When you calculate the cost and the profit she's making using organic farming. So the first thing is that you have a piece of land where you're going to be doing, where you're going to plant your tomatoes. And as I said earlier on, that tomatoes are heavy feeders and they have got a deep root system. Make sure that your plant, the area where you want it is well softened. So if it is a big area and the soil is very compact, it's very important that you use you till the land, you reap the land. So when you are reaping the land, you are loosening the soil, and after loosening the soil, you measure the lines. Now, when you are measuring the lines where you're going to plant your tomatoes, it is best, especially during rainy season, to use ridges. Ridges, they improve the drainage system. And you know, tomatoes, they love a well-drained soil which doesn't have water, because when there's too much water, the drainage is bad. What will happen is that it is going to develop fungal infections like root rot and nematodes and all those complications. So you reap your land, then you make ridges. Now, before you make the ridges, you measure the lines very well. The spacing for tomatoes between the lines, it is 1 meter, and between the plants is 40 to 50 centimeters. So once you have done that, you measure the lines, and as you are making your ridges, make sure that you put manure. Now, that manure is going to act as food for your plants which are going to be growing. Now, you are doing that before you plant, because you want your plant to find the food in the soil. You don't have to give food to the plant after it has been planted. You have to give it food before it is actually planted. When it finds food in the soil, it is even going to give you the best yield, because there is a period when a plant has matured. It must be closer to within 14 days after planting, when it is going to determine how much food is in the soil, and it will be able to tell how many fruits it will be able to produce, so that it can feed from the nutrients which are in the soil. So when there is limited nutrients in the soil, it is going to measure the nutrients, and it will give you equivalent to the nutrients which are there. And it may not make a difference once that stage has been passed and you start giving it your fertilizer. It may not work because it has already measured what is in the soil. So what is coming, it may be a waste of time. So make sure that you have your manure in the soil before you plant. Then after putting that, you make your ridges. As I said, the spacing is 1 meter apart. That is between the lines. You put your manure. Then after that, you cover with mulch. Mulch is very important in organic farming because there are so many benefits it comes. If you may want to know more about mulching, you have to go to my YouTube channel. You are going to find I did a video on the benefits of mulching, and one of them is that mulching retains moisture, it prevents the escape of nitrogen, it fights nematodes, and at the same time it also prevents early blight and late blight, because it helps the reactions with the soil. It is like a blanket between the reactions in the soil and the leaves, so it is protecting them. So it is going to fight so many diseases, and it comes with so many benefits. So when you mulch your ridges, that is before you plant, you're actually doing a twofold thing which is going to work perfectly for your organic tomatoes. Then after putting the mulch, the best irrigation system you should think of is drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is the best for tomatoes. And what do? You put your drip lines, that is before you have planted your tomatoes. When you put your drip lines, you have to water 7 days. You have to water once at least or twice before you plant. That is, you water to neutralize the strength that is in the manure before you plant your tomatoes, because it is very possible that the manure in the soil is capable of bending the tender roots of the plant. So when you water, you're like diluting and reducing the strength in the manure. Then after watering 7 days before planting, then you're going to be ready to start planting. Now the next thing which is coming, it is the seed. Where are you going to get your seedlings? There are two ways. It's either you can buy somewhere from a reliable source where they're selling original seed, natural seed, open pollinated seeds of tomatoes. You go there, at least they must be above 5 centimeters. And when you come to plant them, the spacing, as I said earlier on, it is between the plants, it is 40 to 60 centimeters. Then you plant your tomatoes, especially the best time to plant is early in the morning and in the evening to avoid evaporation of water to wilt your plants. So when you plant in the evening or early in the morning, and just after planting, you have to be watering. And with drip irrigation, you can be watering while it's planting to prevent the shock. You know, when you transplant a plant, any plant, there is a shock, it wilts. So for it to get back to normal, there is always some effects which is going to affect even the rate is going to come back to normal. So it is best to ensure that the soil is well watered and also the plant is well hydrated. So after planting, then the other thing which you're going to be thinking about, or maybe something which is going to be worrying you, is how am I going to deal with pests? How am I going to deal with fungal infections? The good news is that with organic farming, everything is readily available. So there are a number of methods you can use to deal with pests. When you are doing on small scale, when you want to fight fungal infections, you can do what we call companion planting. Tomatoes you can plant with onion or with garlic. These are going to act as repellents, and at the same time they're going to act as fungal, they're going to be dealing with fungal infections. You know, there's a root system which is there in the soil, like a web. So when you put your onions and your garlic in the soil, you plant you plant marigold around your tomato gardens, or maybe between the plants. You find that these are going to be repelling insects, and at the same time they are also going to be putting chemicals in the soil which are going to fight fungal infections. But when you are doing it on a commercial basis, you can use a number of extracts. You can extract chemicals from marigold, you can extract chemicals from papaya, you can extract chemicals from Mexican marigold, and these can help you fight fungal infections and pesticide at the same time. Now, there's a PDF to make your life easier. There's a PDF which I uploaded on my website, and I'm going to put the link on the bottom here, where you can download the PDF on natural pesticide. Now, these are pesticides which are going to help you. These are pesticides which are going to help you be able to fight all the problems which you're going to be meeting up on the way. Because one thing you should understand is that these chemical pesticides we are buying, there is no tree which is producing. Somewhere scientists are getting, they understand the molecular structure of the natural ones, then they extract. And there is a way you can also extract without adding things which are artificial to it, which are hazards, which are destructive to the environment and also to the pests and also to human beings. So this is the best. So when you download that PDF, it is going to help you on how you can make your own pesticide to solve the problems with pests in your tomatoes. And you have to be spraying at least once every week to make sure that your tomatoes are free from pest and fungal infections, and they're going to be growing excellently. Then the next thing you're going to be thinking about is fertilizing. How are you going to be feeding your tomatoes? Because tomato is a heavy feeder, meaning it needs a lot of food. For it to be able to give you 30 kgs or more, you need to give it enough food. The manure which we had put in the soil, it is just for starting up, and you know, manure works very slow. But when you want to feed it very fast, you have to use what we call tea manure. Tea manure, this is where you get, it may be compost, or you get comfrey leaves, or you get cow manure, chicken manure, any manure, and you dip it into the soil to extract the nutrients into liquid. Now, you get that liquid, you may put, let's say for example, a 200 liters, you can use one container. And that container, you in a 200 liters, in a 200 liters drum, you can use 1 bag of manure. You dip it in the water for 4 to 5 days. Then after dipping it, you mix a ratio of 1, depending on the days. The more the days, the more concentrated it's going to be. You can use on a ratio of 1 to 1 or 1 to 2. But when you are using a drip irrigation, what you do is that, you have to connect the drum to the container, to the drip line. As we go to bath, there's where we mix hot water and cold water then to neutralize or to reduce the temperature. That is exactly how it works. The pipe from the container containing the liquid manure and the pipe containing the water going to the drip irrigation, they intersect, then they are taking water and nutrients direct to the plant. And this method works very perfect. And it's always important at least to feed twice every after 2 weeks to the time your plants are going to die. And you find that even the lifespan of your plants is going to be very, very, very long. Then the other thing which you should incorporate, which contains a lot of nutrients, about 84 trace elements which are important for any crop, which are going to help your plants to use other nutrients in the soil to fight diseases and at the same time improve the taste, is what we call Himalayan salt. Himalayan salt contains 84 nutrients which are beneficial to human beings and also beneficial to the plant. Now, how do you use this Himalayan salt? 1 tablespoon is equivalent. You can use it in a 20 liter of container and use that water to water your garden. Depending on how big your garden is, you can use that ratio. 1 tablespoon is equal to 20 liters. And when you don't know where to get Himalayan salt, you can contact me. I can help you on how you can access Himalayan salt. It's very, very effective. It will make your crops look healthy, tasty, and they're going to be very, very disease resistant. Do you know that mostly the plants get affected because of the food which they eat? If they are deficient in nutrients, they are going to be easily affected by diseases and even pests. When a crop is healthy, it is even going to withstand any kind of problem. Then after fighting with diseases and you know even how to feed your plant, you should also know how to maintain your tomatoes. 1, you should make sure that you're always inspecting in search of pests. When you find pests, take actions as soon as possible. Then the other thing, how you're going to maintain your field is make sure that you prune your tomatoes. The leaves which are on the bottom, which are dry, make sure that you remove them. The suckers, they must be out. Make sure that your field is looking very, very, very neat. There's more we can learn about growing tomatoes organically, but one thing you should know is that it is very, very, very possible and very easy, and it is the best. You can be producing the best tomatoes in the country, and you're going to have more customers because people are sick. Everywhere people are sick and they need healthy food to help them stay healthy. A tomato is a fruit which is very delicious. A tomato is a fruit which is needed on a daily basis, and it is a killer cash crop. So if you have been wondering that is it possible to grow tomatoes organically, speaking from experience, not from what I read or maybe what I heard, it is possible and it's the best way to do agriculture. So if you have any question or you have any comment, you may call me or you may write a comment or you may inbox me or send me an email so that we can help each other grow crops which are healthy for the soil and at the same time healthy for the people. I personally, I value the health of people more than I do to money. No wonder I'm sharing this information to help my fellow customers. Stay blessed and subscribe to the page and invite others also to keep on following.